Hey guys, Kyle here. You want clear proof that IPVanish can still break through geo-blocks in 2025. So in today's video, we'll be covering tests that we ran on 3 of the toughest platforms out there: Netflix, UFC, ESPN Plus, and NFL Game Pass. We'll be looking to find out exactly which regions work, which ones fail, and whether the speed test holds steady at HD and 4K quality. By the end of this video, you'll know if IPVanish is worth your money for streaming, or if you should switch to a different VPN before you go for your next binge watch session. Here's what you can expect inside of this video today. I'll be looking at IPVanish servers in the United States, United Kingdom, and Canada. I'll also be firing up Netflix in each region to confirm which catalogs load and which trigger that dreaded proxy error. And I'll also be switching to ESPN Plus to stream a live or recent aired UFC fight to check if the feed stays in HD without buffering. And after that, I'll jump into NFL Game Pass International through a Brazilian server to prove whether full game replays and live games play smoothly. And I'll finish up by running speed tests before and after each stream so you can judge if IPVanish keeps enough bandwidth for 4K video on a normal home connection. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is start by connecting IPVanish to a United States server. Start with New York or Atlanta in WireGuard mode. Then go ahead and reload Netflix and you'll see the full catalog of American Netflix shows pop up instantly instead of whatever your local titles are. You can then go ahead and click a 4K show like Stranger Things, watch the resolution badge climb to Ultra HD within just 10 seconds. And of course, notice that throughout this process, there were no proxy errors or quality drops because IPVanish's New York node still beats Netflix's blocks in 2025. While the episode plays, go ahead and open speed test in another tab and confirm that you're holding at least 75 megabits per second on a 100 megabit baseline, which proves that the VPN is keeping roughly 75% of your bandwidth, more than enough for steady 4K. If you ever hit the unblocker or proxy warning, just go ahead and disconnect and switch to Chicago or to Dallas. Then go ahead and repeat the playback to restore access, showing that a quick server hop is all it takes to maintain flawless US Netflix streaming with IPVanish right now. Then go ahead and switch IPVanish to a London server. Keep WireGuard on for this though. Refresh Netflix and the catalog should flip to a UK exclusive title like Line of Duty or some other very popular UK show. Go ahead and hit the play button on a 4K movie such as The Irishman, and you can watch that resolution indicator climb up to Ultra HD without stalling out. And make sure to note that there are no proxy errors appearing because IPVanish's London and Manchester nodes still slip past Netflix's UK filters. You can then go ahead and run an immediate speed test and you'll see about 70 megabits a second on a 100 megabits a second baseline, which is plenty for UHD, proving that the VPN keeps roughly 70% of your bandwidth overseas. If for whatever reason Netflix does flag the connection, you can go ahead and jump over to Birmingham or even Glasgow, reload the page, and stream will resume at full quality, showing that 2 or 3 quick server switches are just enough to keep the United Kingdom Netflix pretty much wide open with IPVanish. Now go ahead and disconnect and reconnect IPVanish to a Toronto server in Canada. Then you can load Netflix and you run straight into the unblocker or the proxy warning instead of the Canadian home screen. TechRadar actually did their own test of this and saw a very similar issue where they were geo-blocked based on the location that they were accessing from. So if that happens, click the server list, pick Vancouver or even Montreal, clear your browser cookies, and go ahead and try again. On my run, Vancouver finally loaded Canada-only titles like Kim's Convenience, but unfortunately playback hovered at around 1080p because speeds dipped to about 55 megabits a second on a 100 megabits a second baseline, which of course is still fine for HD, but it's still not going to get you to that 4K quality that you could be looking for. Netflix Netflix can work on IPVanish, but takes more trial and error and sometimes sacrifices top tier resolution in the process. So don't be surprised if you have to hop around from server to server to find a proper connection to actually get you to watch these regional shows in the first place. Now, one of the other things you can do is with something like ESPN, for example. Inside of ESPN, you can go ahead and connect IPVanish to a West Coast data center. You can start a recent UFC main event replay, and the video should lock in to about 1080p HD within just 5 seconds. And if you stay there for the full round, you should also be experiencing zero buffering, which confirms that IPVanish does have quite a bit of low latency, and it has enough for fast-paced fights. Also, make sure to run that speed test midstream, and you'll see roughly 80 megabits a second on 100 megabits a second baseline, which is of course more solid proof that the VPN still holds 80% of your base speed even under load. If you're traveling abroad, make sure to disconnect and reconnect through something like Jakarta. Make sure to refresh Mula.tv and buy a pay-per-view fight for the fraction of the US price. The stream should play smoothly at the same HD quality, showing IPVanish's global servers and making it really good for region hopping, especially for UFC events. One of the other things that this demonstrates is that there are 2 quick server switches pretty much away from you having really solid streaming connections, as well as having some great also quality involved with the services that you're watching. Now let's say you're in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, and you want to connect to the NFL Game Pass International. This is completely doable with IPVanish. You simply connect to Brazil and it has no local blackouts. You can hit a 1080 replay of anything you can think of. Chiefs 49ers games, huge soccer games, and even baseball games. It's also possible to run a speed test in another tab to see roughly 78 megabits on 100 megabit per second baseline, proving that the VPN keeps nearly 80% of your bandwidth for smooth football action. If you're in the US and want the same access to this, you can go ahead and stay on the Brazil server, sign up with your regular credit card, and Game Pass lets you watch every matchup without regional blocks. And in my opinion, I think IPVanish is a super solid option if you're trying to watch any of these sporting programs from anywhere out there in the world. If you guys want to get started with IPVanish, make sure you use that link down in the description. When you click that link, you should be brought to a page that looks something like this one. As you can see, I just have to hit the subscribe now button, which will take me to their checkout page. Once on their checkout page, I'll simply pick which pricing plan I want to choose, enter in my payment details, and just like that, I can get started with IPVanish. Make sure to like this video and subscribe so that way you guys never miss any of our future videos. Also, please remember the links down in the description are affiliate links, and we could financially benefit from them at no extra cost to you. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.